I feel like we're showing the post office that we're capitulating. We're just accepting what they want us to accept.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
The American Postal Workers Union represents over 200,000 postal workers, and that's like the clerks. Like, you go into a if you go into a post office, the people that you see, they're members of the APWU. They're represented by the APWU, right? And so all four of the postal unions have been negotiating contracts. Their contracts all expired a little bit different times. The NALC just went through their contract negotiation. They went through arbitration, got a contract imposed on them. And so now the APWU has a tentative agreement that the membership will vote on. The APWU said in a press release that the tentative agreement was finalized on June 2nd, 2025, and it was presented to the National Negotiating Committee by the National Negotiating Committee to the Rank and File Bargaining Advisory Committee on June 4th, and then the Rank and File Committee unanimously approved the tentative agreement for a ratification vote of the members. The TA has the unanimous approval of the National Negotiating Committee and the full support of the National Executive Board. APWU President Mark Dimmenstein said this is great news for postal workers. Negotiations are never easy and have been hard fought. We have secured an agreement that continues to protect the rights and interests of our members in uncertain times. We've been negotiating when government workers and our unions are under severe assault and with the specter of postal privatization looming. Yet, even in this environment, the tentative national agreement contains annual wage increases, 6 full cost of living adjustments for career employees, no layoff protections, right? Protections for against layoffs, including for tens of thousands of members with less than 6 years service, 50-mile limits on accessing, elimination of some entry-level steps, restoration of one more top step in pay grades 4 to 7 on the lower tier pay scale, increase in uniform allowances, and much more. All these gains were accomplished with no givebacks or concessions. A yes vote will secure the provisions and advances of the tentative agreement. And so here are a couple of those, a couple of the highlights. It's from a 3-year period, September 21st, 2024 through September 20th, 2027. The first and the increases over the 3 years are 1.3%, 1.4%, and 1.5%. The first year's 1.3% raise will be paid retroactively to September of 2024, so you'll get a little back pay check for the raise paid retroactively. It includes full cost of living adjustments for career employees. COLA will be paid the second full pay period after the release of January 2025, July 2025, January 2026, July 2026, January 2027, and July 2027. And APWU actually remains the only postal union with full COLA, so that's interesting. And they have some other stuff that's going to be kind of in the weeds for me on job security. It includes protection from layoff for career employees with 6 years of service. They also say any career employee on the rolls as of September 20th, 2024, but with less than 6 years of career service will be protected from layoff for the life of the national agreement. This provides at least 70,000 additional career employees protection from possible layoff. And it maintains the current moratorium on subcontracting of postal vehicle service work that's going to continue. Health insurance, no change to the Postal Service percentage contribution to premiums for those participating in the Postal Service Health Program. 95% Postal Service contribution to premiums of APWU Consumer-Driven Health Plan, CDHP. Increases, like I said, in union work clothes. There's some additional work rule changes, and all of that stuff is going to be, if you're a postal worker, that's stuff you're going to want to know and familiarize yourself as you prepare to vote on it, but it's probably a little bit in the weeds for us. And so If you're a postal worker, we would love to hear from you. 844-899-TVLR. If you're a member of the APWU, I want to hear what you think about this tentative agreement. Let us know. You can give us a call. We'll answer it live on the air. Or you can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it next week on the show. We do have Mark Demonstein lined up to be a guest on next week's show, so looking forward to talking to him about this, but also mostly, I think, about the threats to the Postal Service, privatization, the new Postmaster General, stuff like that. And so with that, we've got a caller on the line, caller from a 970 area code. Caller from a 970 area code, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Palace Real. I'm one of the chatters. I did say I was going to call in. I'm from Kentucky.
Palace.
I'm a custodian.
Yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to call in. Where are you calling from again?
Kentucky. I usually call in from an 859 number, but
okay,
I have a VoIP number.
Yeah. No, that's just the state is plenty. Just interested in that. So really appreciate you calling in. You mentioned that you are an APWU member. You're a custodian, and so what is your reaction to the tentative agreement, and what has been the reaction of your fellow union members?
The blaring thing that's right there is the 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5%. I don't think that that's enough. I think it would be enough for me to vote no on. I feel like every APWU member deserves far more than that. But I know that it's not going to happen. The NALC had their contract negotiations. They went to arbitration. They were originally 1.3 across the board, and they went to 1.5%. The NRLCA came out with their tentative agreement that they're currently voting on. It's the exact same 1.345%. So realistically, that's not. It's really not something that's going to change. I know if we do vote no and it does get rejected, I think Diamondstein, even on your program, is probably going to lean into the fact that we have a COLA, we have full COLAs, and that layoff protection. And he's probably going to say something along the lines of, if we do go to arbitration, we do have a very high risk of losing that COLA because we're the only postal union that has that. And he's going to say that the post office has been trying to lay off clerks for a really long time, and this helps their case by keeping 70,000 people from being laid off. I don't think that's I understand that that's good concessions that we've gotten from the post office, but it's just, I feel like we deserve more money. I really do.
Right.
The grade 3, I honestly have no idea what a grade 3 employee is. I've never heard of a craft that's grade 3. Grade 4 is custodial. And they eliminated grade 3, so it's completely gone. And so anybody on grade 3 would be moved up to grade 4. They've removed the top step, which is JJ, on the pay steps. They removed that, and everybody would start on II, which is the very top step of the pay scale. If you did look at the chart on the APWU website, there's a pay information on there. You can see the scale, the chart, and there's a gray and there's a yellow. Mostly everybody would be going to the bottom of the I scale in terms of max out pay when they eventually max out. But everybody usually starts at that gray area unless they're grade 8, 9, or 10, which is maintenance, high maintenance, electronics technicians, and things like that. Usually people start at that gray scale and then they move all the way down to the yellow, the bottom of the yellow part. So people were asking about that. It's just kind of.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Can you explain for for folks what the difference is between the APWU's full COLA and the other postal unions' diet COLA?
I personally don't know the full extent of it. I was only an NALC member for a little bit of time. I know they only when you're first starting as an NALC member as a city regular or whatever, you get a portion of whatever the COLA, the cost of living adjustment was. So there's a percentage. Instead of 100%, you get some portion of that. And as an APWU member, whatever the COLA, the cost of living adjustment is, you get the full amount, no matter what step you are in. As a career person, PSCs do not get COLAs, but
they did get an extra 1%.
Right, they get an extra 1%, and they're getting an extra 50 cents per hour after 26 weeks of working at the post office.
And what is PSE?
It's like the clerks that break down the trucks and stuff in the morning. They're usually the ones that do like the grunt work and things like that. I don't know what the PSE, the acronym, stands for exactly.
And so is that usually like a temporary position, like you're only a PSE for a short amount of time and then you move into something else?
PSEs are actually like CCAs. They work for basically 2 years, and then eventually they get bumped up to the PTF position. But yeah, I was
figuring it was something like that. So okay. And then you mentioned that you gave your arguments for why you're kind of leaning towards voting no. I think maybe you've even made the decision to vote no. It's because of because like the raises are just not enough. You need more money, and that totally makes sense. How are what about your coworkers? Do you think that's how your coworkers are feeling, or are your coworkers feeling like this is about as good as we're going to get in this environment?
Judging by the reactions of people, it sounds like this is what this is better than what the NALC got because of the layoff protections, because of the COLAs. They think, well, this is what we're going to get. And I mean, another thing was the night differential. I mean, a lot of the PSC is a postal support employee. That's what it stands for. But yeah, they usually work really early in the morning, and they would get night differential pay. That increased by 4% in September, and it's actually going to increase by 2% September 19th of 2026. So that right there would be a lot of extra pay for some of them. Not very much, but I mean, when you have to come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, that extra a little bit helps, I would assume.
Right. For sure. Well, Palace Rill, is there anything else that you think folks ought to know about, or do you have any other thoughts about the TA?
I mean, it sucks that we're going to have that. To me, I feel like it's likely going to pass.
Yeah.
I feel like even if we did go to arbitration, at least we're telling our union that we're not accepting the wages, regardless of what the NALC or the NRLCA got. I feel like we're showing the post office that we're capitulating. We're just accepting what they want us to accept. If anything, I would say that Diamondstein is doing more than Don Maston or Brian Renfro did. I think there are a lot of things that are good in here, and that's likely why people are going to accept it. But I'm going to still vote no just because of those wages. I fully believe that we deserve way more than what we're getting.
Thank you so much for the call. I really appreciate it. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free
to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.